Welcome to the Morning Walk with Murty Digital Stroll.
Thank you. It's great to be walking with you today.
Yeah, and as we take our first steps today, walking right alongside you, the listener, I really need to establish the most crucial rule for our shared mental ledger.
Oh, absolutely. The pronunciation rule.
Exactly. Whenever we say the name Murty today, you need to hear, and I mean really envision, that sharp, distinct T. It is M-U-R-T-Y.
Right. There is absolutely no softening it into a D.
None. No slurring it into Murty. It is a crisp, deliberate sound.
Just as deliberate as the man himself, really. I mean, in a single 24-hour window, he debugged an AI, flashed an entire fleet of discarded hardware, and, well, laid the literal groundwork for a rural digital empire.
It's incredible. And as someone who spends a lot of time seeking the wisdom behind the workflow, this whole log is just a profound microcosm of human potential.
It is a hard anchor. And as your resident strategic auditor today, I have to point out that intention really matters here. We aren't just casually reading through a chat log.
No, definitely not.
We are looking through what we call the Digital Prism. Our mission for this Gurukul session is to extract the literal legacy code of Project Antaryami.
Which is such a massive undertaking.
Right. So for your mental map, you need to know exactly who we are auditing. We are looking at the architect of Antaryami, the mentor of the Antaryami VA Academy Murty.
And our source material for this is just fascinating. It's a raw, shared chat between the architect and his AI assistant, Little Bird.
Dated July 1st, 2026.
Yeah. And what a day it is. You have the micro and the macro happening simultaneously. But before we explore the vast digital bridge he's building, we actually have to examine a moment where his own AI fundamentally misunderstood who was holding the blueprints.
Oh, the glitch. Yeah.
Right. We are dealing with this bizarre tech glitch that Little Bird caught itself in. We're basically calling it the identity reversal.
Well, let's break down the mechanics of this failure, because from a systems perspective, Little Bird's vision logic was just fundamentally broken.
How so? I mean, what exactly was it seeing?
So in a platform like WhatsApp, there is a basic geometric rule, right? The right side of the screen is the user. The right side equals Murty BVNS.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the AI, when it was parsing the chat logs, it completely ignored that spatial reality. Instead, it was anchoring to the contact names at the top of the chat names, like Hussein Basha or Kishore or Suresh Tanuku.
Wow, so it was just confusing them.
Worse, it just started blindly attributing the architect's messages to them.
It completely painted the conversation with the student's identity. I mean, to the point where the AI accidentally logged that a student named Hussein was heading to Telugu University to negotiate with the Vice Chancellor.
Right, which obviously didn't happen.
And in another instance, it attributed the completion of this complex electrical work at the Araki Revula branch to a contact named Suresh.
Yeah, the misattributions were wild.
And the most glaring error, it assigned a messy 2.5 lakh insurance and Kishore Pushpachit's hurdle directly to Murty when Murty had explicitly told the AI that was Kishore's problem to solve.
Yeah, it's just a cascading failure of data attribution. And for the sake of the Antaryami historical ledger, the AI absolutely had to recalibrate its digital prism.
Because it just ruins the historical record.
Exactly. We cannot have the system logging that students are spearheading high-level institutional negotiations. Standard operating procedures dictate absolute accuracy.
Right.
So Little Bird had to establish a hard binary rule. Left side equals the contact, the student, the client, the warrior in training. Right side equals the architect. That is the only way a system scales.
I understand the need for clean data. I really do. But looking through the lens of Gurukul 2.0, I actually find this glitch incredibly poetic.
Poetic? How so?
Well, by getting a simple spatial layout wrong, Little Bird inadvertently handed the lead architect and digital migration strategist status over to the students on the ground.
Huh. I guess that's one way to look at it.
Think about that for a second. Philosophically, isn't that the ultimate goal of any true mentor? To build your students up so thoroughly, to impart so much of your legacy code that they eventually take on your mantle.
I mean,
the AI wasn't necessarily broken, It was just accelerating the timeline of Murty's vision.
Okay, that is a beautiful sentiment, but a beautiful sentiment doesn't build a sturdy bridge.
Fair enough.
The AI must log reality as it is today, not the philosophical ideal of tomorrow. And reality today requires the architect to do the heavy lifting, which actually brings us to the 11:00 a.m. to 1:00 p.m. window.
the architect hour.
Exactly. Once the AI correctly identifies Murty, we get to see the actual foundation he is laying, starting with the physical hardware migration.
The digital trenches. Because you just cannot build a virtual academy without machines.
And we are not talking about high-end corporate machines here. Murty is dealing with low-spec student laptops.
Right, the discarded one.
Yeah. These are systems with maybe 2 gigabytes of RAM that are absolutely choking under Chrome OS.
Wow.
They're stuttering, dropping Wi-Fi, and just failing due to severe driver mismatches.
Which raises an immediate barrier for the 100 women in the village of Architect who need this technology.
Oh, absolutely.
This hardware is their literal lifeline to a global economy, but a stuttering machine destroys user confidence faster than anything else.
Exactly. So how does the architect solve the hardware lag? He bypasses the bloated operating systems entirely and migrates them to Linux Mint.
Okay, but Linux can be heavy too, right?
Well, specifically, he uses lightweight desktop environments like XFCE or Mate. For you listening, if you aren't deep into operating systems, XFCE is designed to use a minuscule amount of system memory. It strips away all the heavy animations and background processes, freeing up that precious 2 gigs of RAM so the actual applications can run smoothly.
But the deployment method is what really fascinated me. Because, installing a new OS on dozens of different machines usually takes days.
Not if you use the right SOP. Murty is utilizing tools like UMI or Ventoy.
Ventoy, yeah.
Instead of constantly formatting a USB drive for every different machine type, Ventoy allows you to just drag and drop multiple ISO files, so both 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems, onto a single thumb drive.
That is so efficient.
It really is. You plug it into the stuttering laptop, boot from the USB, and flash the machine in minutes. From there, he runs a built-in driver manager to instantly isolate and fix the Wi-Fi and audio drops that Chrome OS just couldn't handle.
Okay, let me stop you there, because as impressive as that technical efficiency is, we really have to look at the human element here.
Yeah.
You are taking rural beginners, ex-village volunteers, and graduates who might never have owned a personal computer, and you are throwing a Linux operating system at them.
I see where you're going with this.
Right. Because Linux has a reputation for being intimidating, command line heavy, and generally hostile to non-tech users. Isn't that a recipe for absolute cognitive overload?
It would be, definitely, if you were teaching them Linux. But he isn't.
Oh, okay.
He is utilizing what we call the browser-only suite. Murty isn't dropping these women into a complex terminal. He is using Linux merely as a stable engine to run a very specific environment.
So hiding the complexity.
Exactly. Once Mint is installed, he loads either Brave or Google Chrome, and then he locks the workflow down by pinning just 4 critical tools directly to the taskbar. He simplifies the entire operating system into a pure virtual assistant workstation.
Oh, wow. That drastically lowers the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
If all you see are 4 buttons, you basically can't get lost in the file system.
Precisely. And let's look at the specific architecture of those 4 tools. First, he pins Notebook LM.
Oh, the AI note-taking tool?
Right. This isn't just a word processor. It acts as a personal brain for synthesizing vast amounts of information, which is critical for someone learning global VA work. Second, he installs Calmly Writer.
Which is just a brilliant choice from a psychological standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, Calmly Writer removes all the toolbars, all the formatting options, all that digital noise. It leaves you with nothing but a blank screen and your text. For a beginner trying to focus, removing those visual distractions is just as important as removing the bloatware from the hard drive.
That's a great point. Now, the third pinned application is Adobe Podcast, providing them with enterprise-grade audio enhancement capabilities for professional VA tasks.
Amazing.
And finally, the most critical piece of the puzzle, Bitwarden.
A password manager on day one.
Yeah.
I know corporate employees who have been in the workforce for a decade and still use a spiral notebook for their passwords.
Because most IT departments treat security as an afterthought. Murty recognizes that these machines aren't holding classified state secrets today, but the habit of digital hygiene must be foundational.
Right, it's about building the muscle memory.
Exactly. By forcing them to use Bitwarden from the very beginning, he is teaching them that managing access and securing data is the core of virtual assistants. He is curating an environment designed entirely for operational success.
But, a flashed USB drive and a beautifully curated Linux desktop mean absolutely nothing if there isn't a dedicated, focused human sitting in front of it.
Very true.
Tech infrastructure is useless without human capital. And finding those humans required the architect to completely log off, leave the digital realm, and walk the physical roads.
The ground game. the execution of Gurukul 2.0.
Let's explore where he's actually going for this. Murty is conducting offline marketing in the villages of Kumaradevam, Chidipi, and Architect.
And his target demographic is remarkably specific.
It is. He isn't just handing out flyers to anyone on the street. He is headhunting Sachivalayam volunteers and women graduates between the ages of 20 and 40.
Which is a very strategic move.
Absolutely.
Wow.
For those walking with us who might not know the term, Sachivalayam staff are local village secretariat workers in Andhra Pradesh.
Right.
These are individuals who already possess a strong baseline of civic duty. They know how to navigate local bureaucracies, and most importantly, they already hold the trust of their communities.
They are an untapped reservoir of highly capable, disciplined labor. But the pitch Murty is making to them is what I find so structurally sound.
Oh, the messaging strategy.
Yeah, when you look at the recruitment ledger and the WhatsApp messaging strategy that Little Bird helped him refine, he isn't framing this as a low-level data entry gig.
Not at all.
He is treating this village recruitment drive with the exact same rigor as a Silicon Valley talent acquisition firm.
Yeah, he is offering them a profound pivot. He asks them if they are ready to transition their local village experience into a global career via work-from-home virtual assistant role.
Which completely changes the paradigm.
It elevates their status immediately. He's calling them digital trainers. And he provides them with a space that reflects that elevation. The local Munsif's house, which he is literally transforming into the Antaryami VA Academy.
And from an infrastructure standpoint, the Munsif's house is heavily fortified.
Yeah, he didn't hold back.
No. He has installed a 100 Mbps fiber internet and robust digital inverters to ensure they never lose power during those rural grid fluctuations. It is basically a bunker of connectivity.
It is, but the physical wires are only half the story. Philosophically, he is cultivating an environment of digital yoga.
Digital yoga, that's a fascinating term.
Right. This isn't just an internet cafe where people come to casually browse YouTube. Murty is blending modern digital skills with the ancient concept of Arsha Dharma.
Which is, for the listeners.
Ah, right. If you aren't familiar with Arsha Dharma, it is the Vedic philosophy of righteous, disciplined, living in harmony with universal laws and duties.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so Murty is taking that profound spiritual discipline and mapping it directly onto a gig economy workflow. He is creating a highly secure, localized space that treats digital labor with the reverence of a traditional Gurukul.
It is a localized, high-trust funnel for global digital labor.
Yeah.
I mean, he maps out the Sachivalayam staff and the influential village leaders on his phone ledger, leveraging their community standing to filter and find the most dedicated 100 women.
Exactly.
He offers them the ability to earn a global wage while staying firmly rooted in their village ecosystem. It's an incredibly efficient supply chain of talent.
I think calling it a supply chain undersells the humanity of it, but...
Well, structurally speaking.
Right, I agree with the mechanics. However, as we continue this digital stroll, we really have to look at the macro.
The bigger picture.
Yeah, how does a 100-person digital Gurukul in a rural Munsif's house connect to a massive, formalized academic institution? Because Murty isn't just a grassroots organizer walking the dusty paths of Chidipi.
No, he is the digital migration strategist at Potti Sriramulu Telugu University, PSTU.
Which is a massive role.
It is. And this brings us to the final critical maneuver of his day, the VC pivot. Amidst the Linux flashing, the AI debugging, and the village recruitment, he is actively securing a meeting with the Vice Chancellor of the university.
And here is where the brilliance of Little Bird actually shines through.
The AI redemption arc.
Exactly. The AI didn't just log messages, it analyzed the strategy. It advised Murty to frame the Architect Center to the Vice Chancellor as a human proof of concept.
That phrase. That is the true legacy code we are looking for today. Think about the friction universities face when trying to modernize.
Oh, it's endless.
They get bogged down, and it removes every single excuse a massive institution might have. If the digital bridge is structurally sound in Architect, it proves to the Vice Chancellor that the university can scale this exact same vision across its entire network.
It proves that the limitations aren't hardware or location. The limitations are purely a lack of disciplined architecture.
So let's synthesize the sheer density of what we have audited today.
Please do, because it's a lot.
In a single 24-hour cycle, the mentor of the Antaryami VA Academy corrects the vision logic of his own AI. He manually flashes lightweight Linux kernels onto stuttering hardware to bypass technical bottlenecks.
Right.
He walks the village paths to recruit and elevate grassroots talent into global digital warriors. And simultaneously, he packages that entire grassroots effort into a massive, undeniable proof of concept for a university vice chancellor.
It is just a staggering amount of legacy to lay down before dinner.
Truly.
Which brings me to you, walking alongside us right now. I want you to reflect on your own daily routines. Think about your own architect hours.
Good question.
Are you just passively answering emails, clear notifications, and reacting to the noise?
Yeah.
Or are you actively building your own digital bridge? Are you cultivating your own version of digital yoga? Or are you just letting the bloatware of your daily life drain your system resources?
Those are the exact questions Project Antaryami forces us to ask. But I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over as we end this digital stroll.
Oh, what's that?
We started this session by analyzing Little Bird's glitch. We examined how the AI mistakenly handed Murty's architectural identity over to his students on the left side of the WhatsApp screen, logging Hussein as the university negotiator and Suresh as the master builder.
The failure of spatial geometry.
Right. We called it a failure of vision logic because it violated our SOPs for historical accuracy. But when you look at the massive, painstaking effort Murty's pouring into these 100 women in Eric Urevula, when you look at the carefully curated Linux setups, the deep respect of Arsha Dharma infused into their workspace, and his absolute belief in their potential to handle global roles, maybe we were wrong to call it a glitch. Perhaps the AI wasn't malfunctioning at all.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was simply predicting the inevitable future. Because if Project Antaryami succeeds, those left side contacts won't remain students forever. The legacy code will compile, and eventually they will become the architects of their own digital destinies.